We all love a tidy kitchen, right? Small appliances stored away, gleaming counters wiped down with zero clutter. Every crumb, every ring from a coffee mug, gone. And for about an hour at a time, the counters look great, and the whole room shines like a magazine spread. Now, maybe not Elle Decor or Architectural Digest, but definitely Dwell, or at least Better Homes and Gardens. And frankly, the materials don't even really matter when it's looking good. So you could have bespoke cabinetry or just standard wood cabinets, and stone or Corian or Formica, when it's clean and organized, they all look just as crisp. But then someone walks in, drops the mail down on one of those clean, empty surfaces, and they just keep walking. Or maybe they plug in a phone charger, then grab the phone when it rings, leave the room with the charger still dangling from the outlet, and chances are they do not return after the call to collect the charger. Then maybe a few dirty dishes end up perched on the sink lip. Maybe some random receipts get left behind when someone emptied their pockets, and likely a set of keys will end up buried under more mail or even possibly a newspaper or magazine or catalog. Suddenly, there's a refillable water bottle that hasn't seen the inside of a dishwasher for a week. That's hanging out on the counter. Maybe a few projects get piled up that you swear you're going to deal with later that just got set down for a minute on their way to somewhere else. And that is exactly how it happens. Now, does any of this sound familiar? Kitchen counters aren't messy just because of their contents. Now, sure, food and other kitchen stuff can be messier than other rooms. They can smell, they're often wet or crumbly, and we do have to eat. So the room gets used a lot for its primary purpose, let alone everything else that happens in there. So it is a kitchen problem, sure, but the clutter isn't specific to the kitchen, not exactly. Clutter accumulates in the kitchen because this room contains some of the biggest, flattest, and most convenient surfaces in your entire home, and they're at the crossroads of everyone who walks through the door. And like I said, we too all need to eat and get things to drink and prepare food to eat and hopefully clean up after we eat. Hopefully. That means that other than the bathroom, this room sees the most traffic throughout the day. And that also means that when someone walks in with the mail in their hand, or their keys, or a school permission slip, or a flyer for a new restaurant, or, chances are they're going to land on a counter and stay there. Because the only decision that was made was, I need to set this down for a minute, not, where is the home for this thing that's in my hand? Where should I put it? That is the whole problem and solution in a nutshell. So here are a few myths we can dispel to get you started keeping your kitchen mess-free. Myth number one, you just need fewer appliances out. Well, sure, that helps a little, and the standard rule of keeping out only what you use every day still holds here. Now, I have a toaster oven and an espresso Pixie coffee maker on my counters, and a turntable, a Lazy Susan, that holds oils, vinegars, salt, and pepper. I have a spoon rest that was my dad's. It's got some chili peppers from Santa Fe on it. And typically there's a bowl of produce, and that ranges from sweet potatoes, onions, and garlic to tomatoes, avocados, and bananas. And that's it for my counters. But I have organized kitchens with nothing but a single coffee maker or an electric kettle on the counter, and they still look like a junk drawer within a week because it's not really about the appliances. It's back to the mail, the keys, the homework, the button that needs to be sewn on that you don't want to lose that ends up in a coffee mug for safekeeping, not to mention those online purchases and their inevitable returns. That's exactly how this room fills up with all the stuff that has no home anywhere else in the house, but also really can't claim the kitchen counter as its home either. And sure, you didn't lose the button, so your coffee cup container is better than nothing, right? But still, not the best choice. Now, myth 2 is about other people, and it goes something like this. This place would look great if you all would just stop dumping everything in here. Now, whether you live alone or with a small battalion of humans and animals, no one's deliberately trying to defy you or upset you. They're doing exactly what anyone would do with a thing that has nowhere else to go. They, and possibly you are putting it down on the nearest flat surface. The counter isn't winning the "I'll just set it down for a minute" contest because people are careless or thoughtless or mean. I mean, they may be any of those things. But the counter is winning the Home for Random Objects contest because it's got no real competition. Nowhere else in the house is a better place to put any of the stuff that ends up on the kitchen counter if you haven't assigned each category or kind of thing a home beforehand. It's kind of like water seeking its own level, only in this case it's stuff seeking the closest, easiest, largest surface fastest. And no surprise, that's usually a kitchen counter. There's a special line we often draw before we migrate to using the floors for storage, since those are even larger than the counters, but that is a topic for another day. For now, let's head back to the bathroom for a minute. It often runs a close second for random items left behind. When you race in there to do your business with something in your hand, suddenly that's the last surface you saw. So it's sometimes where your keys or your phone will end up. And the last myth is the pretty one. Sort of like the Three Little Pigs. Myth 3 could be the third pig's brick house, and that is a sturdy, decorative basket or tray will fix the problem. It, or the problem being the mess. And look, I'm all for a decorative basket. I have a few of them myself. But a basket by itself doesn't solve the problem. It just makes the temporary home for something prettier. Because now you have a lovely corralled stack of mail, keys, receipts, pens, possibly batteries sitting on your counter instead of in a messy clump. But it's still on the counter, and more importantly, that stuff is still not sorted, decided about, or given a real home somewhere else. So here's where to actually start. Not with a new appliance lineup and not with a new basket. Start simply by sorting like with like right there on the counter so you can actually see what's landing there and how often. Mail in one pile, keys in another, paper, money, gift cards, loose change go in another. Anything mid-project, the thing you're going to deal with, gets its own pile. Once you can see it, you decide now where these things want to live permanently. You don't need to keep deciding every time you walk into the kitchen where something lives that happens to be in your hand. And here's another not so secret fact. It takes the same amount of time to put something away in the moment as it does to put it away later. The only difference is the emotional cost now versus later. In the moment, schlepping the mail all the way down the hallway or up the stairs to the home office feels like a pain in the butt. But walking past the mail on the kitchen counter 12 times a day eats away at you in little bites all day long. And you still haven't put the mail in its home. So which math is really less expensive? One trip to the office or a dozen swipes at your self-esteem and then the inevitable walk to the office along with some trash talk to yourself about how lazy you are and why can't you ever do things right? Now, was that a boost to your self-esteem? Maybe the decision tax was more expensive than you first thought when you set the thing down and kept walking, telling yourself you'd get back to it later. If you want to open and sort the mail in the kitchen before you head to the office, great. I do that because the recycling is under the kitchen sink. But then once that's done, the mail gets taken to my office and put in its basket there. My keys, as I mentioned in a previous video, get dropped in the hall bench along with my wallet, any money, and chapstick. Any packages get finalized in the kitchen, that's where the packing tape lives, and then stacked by the front door, so they leave with me on my next trip down to the car. I'd rather they ride around in the back seat for a few days than sit by the door. That way, if I happen to pass the drop-off store, it's much easier to dispatch it in the moment. They're right with me. Any other deal with it later stuff gets an actual deadline, not an indefinite one. So with all of that in mind, then, and only then, a basket or a tray could be a good choice because now that container is the home for something specific you've already decided belongs on the kitchen counter, not the abyss that swallows all random items hanging out homeless in your kitchen. Now, given the scale and randomness of everything that might be passing through your kitchen at any given moment that doesn't actually live in your kitchen, we'll cover those details, and we do in other videos when we talk about category by category and room by room. In closing, let me leave you with this. Your counters aren't cluttered because you're a lousy cook or a mediocre cleaner or a bad parent or stupid, defective, just not good at organizing. Those are all just some of your 200 lies. Your counters are cluttered because they became the path of least resistance for everything in your house that could possibly fit on a counter that doesn't have a real home yet. The good news? Once you make those decisions, it's a snap to keep the kitchen counters clear, clean, and looking great. So, are you the kind of person who just needs some clarity on the problem and solution and is ready to take the info and run with it? If you are someone who wants hand-holding, coaching, and support to make sure it actually gets done and doesn't become one more thing nagging at you in the middle of the night, we've got choices for you too. If you're the first kind of person, my book, Unstuff Your Life, walks you through exactly how to sort, decide, and assign real homes. There's an entire chapter on the kitchen included. The link is below. If you're the second kind of person, the De-Stress Your Mess Challenge gets you and your kitchen sorted with me live. That link's below too. Either way, the way to begin is by setting a timer, 15 minutes max. That's all you need to get started. I'm Andrew Mellen. The media calls me the most organized man in America. I've been helping people simplify their homes, their businesses, and their lives for over 30 years. If this resonated, please subscribe. I put out new content regularly. And if you want to support the channel directly, hit join for channel memberships to get priority access to new videos, and you can drop a super thanks if this one helped you out in particular. My book, again, Unstuff Your Life, is linked in the description. And if you want live support, please join us for a De-Stress Your Mess Challenge. That link's there too. I will see you in the next one.